Hey guys, Camfrey 15 back at it with the final two episode reviews. Really the final episode review of Bleach Thousand Year Blood War arc for part one, our core one. Man, what an ending! What an ending to the return of Bleach for the first part, man, of this Thousand Year Blood War arc. And I am craving for more. I'm craving for more, but I can wait. I can wait. You're telling me I have to wait 7 months to see part two, and after I saw the trailer, I was just like, "Oh, things are about to get freaking real up in here." Um, but yeah, we got a 1 hour special pretty much, and yeah, that was kind of the thing. Now, you wonder where my co-host is? He's in Mexico. He watched the episode on his own time, so he'll probably be back when part two comes back. So yeah. But this episode, these two episodes were great, man. They were nice back-to-back episodes that played off each other. Because I'm sorry, if I watched episode 12's episode, I'd be craving for more. Bleach, but they ended it off in a way where I'm craving for more, but I know I can wait 7 months, 7 long months. But the year will go by fast if nothing crazy or bad happens, and then 7 months time starting 2023. But I digress. This is absolutely crazy. Just the plot twist and the turns of what happened in these two episodes was absolutely crazy. We finally get in episode 12, we pretty much get the conclusion to the Isshin and Masaki backstory. And my goodness, man, it was a gut punch, heart-wrenching, and we get some explanations that we didn't know. I always made my prediction of the fact that I thought Isshin got kicked out of the Soul Society for going against Yamamoto's word, for going to the world of the living without telling anybody. And no, he didn't. He didn't get kicked out of the world of the living. He actually, well, guess what? He actually freaking, if anything, Yamamoto's like, all right, even though you freaking did a dereliction of your duty, I'll give you this. You gave us some valuable information, so I'll let you off the hook this time. Just make sure you're not getting in trouble again. So that was kind of the thing, and it was the whole thing of he also didn't tell Yamamoto about Masaki and the Quincy's still living in the world of living because he knows Quincy's and Storypers are hated enemies. And I did like the whole fact how he was intrigued to want to see her again, and he was wondering at the same time we see how Masaki was interested to see and get to know what Ishin's name was. But, you know, eventually that all comes to crazy heads. We end up finding out that, guess what? Ryuken's mother ends up finding out about what Masaki did and what happened to her. And we find out it was obviously Katagiri that pretty much blabbed the information. And obviously it was the whole thing. It's like, well, things won't be different anymore because she's technically not, you know, a full-blooded Quincy. She got affected by the hollow, which is what we see in the episode 12. And that's when, if it wasn't for Kisuke bumping into Masaki earlier in the episode, well, then she may have never been able to be, I guess you could say, seen with what she needed to be had. And you know, it's crazy when you saw it, and now it's getting a more understanding of like, okay, this is how Ichigo got his hollow powers. He got it from his mom alongside the Quincy powers. It's all passed down, which when they take her to Kisuke's place, because Isshin and Ryuken, they end up taking her to Kisuke's place, you know, it's this whole thing of how Kisuke was like, yeah, this is going to be pretty much a life condition she's going to have because it's a part of, you know, holification, and if we don't do anything, well, she's gonna self-suicide herself, which means pretty much the hollow persona is gonna come in and kill off her personality as well who she is. Which it's crazy when you think about it, because it's like, well, then what happens if Karen and Yuzu if they were to ever say throw it out there, become somewhat soul reapers and everything, with their Quincy slash hollow abilities, soul reaper abilities activate? More than likely, yes, because it would have been passed down, I'm guessing. But it's absolutely crazy that in this whole entire freaking scene, we actually do find out how Isshin lost his Soul Reaper powers. Pretty much, he jumped into a Gigai, and in order to freaking fuse the bond and make sure Masaki doesn't turn into a hollow, he had to go in there, practically go into a Gigai, give pretty much in a way, I guess you can say, a blood donation, and he was holding the hollow at bay, which is absolutely insane because I thought like, oh, he got exiled. No, to find out he, in a way, lost his solar powers just to help out Masaki, his future wife. It's absolutely crazy. And it was even more insane to see that Ryukin, he didn't think that Isshin would help her out. And Isshin, we get it. You know, again, I've thrown the comparisons. Ichigo gets some traits from his mom. He also gets some traits from his dad, and you can see the personality within Isshin that Ichigo has of always willing to do whatever it takes to help a friend or a loved one of his. Again, Masaki. This episode we saw, she has those same personality like traits that Orihime has, and I'm like, oh, I can see why my boy Ichigo in some cases is attracted to Orihime. He gets that another thing from his dad. So I guess the Ichigo father, the Ichigo sons, are the Shiba clan members, or the Kurosakis, if you want to be better known. They fall for girls easily, with nice, cute, adorable personalities, and it was nice to see that. And I really just seeing the backstory between Isshin and Masaki, how she ended up going to college and everything, and then she ended up moving in with him, because really he was nothing else, and she grew attached to him because she moved out of the Ishida household because she pretty much was deemed half a Quint. She's not a full-blooded Quint anymore because she's got hollow, stuff running through her body. And that's from there on. Then and then you get the bombshell drop in the same episode at the end of like, oh yeah, your mom actually, because, and I threw out this question. I said this in my last episode review. I'm like, I really do hope they explain how the frick did she die to Grand Fisher, because it makes no sense. She should have been able to defeat Grand Fisher if I'm seeing her kick this Hollow White's ass with absolute utter ease. It makes no sense. Also, too, in the whole sequence and her mind space, when the Hollow was trying to consume her, the Hollow mask looked in the same form as Ichigo's first Hollow mask, which was pretty cool, and everything. But going back to the cliffhanger, the post-credit scene, I was like, how? I was always throwing the speculation. It would make no sense. She looks that she's powerful enough. I'm like, unless she lost her Quincy powers, I would not know. Like, I was doing like, oh, maybe after she gets this whole Hollow thing, maybe the Hollow personality or side of her, because she got hollified, that the Quincy abilities went away. But no, she still had the Quincy abilities, and it was thanks to this thing called Azuken, I believe that's what Isshin told Ichigo. He pretty much said, yeah, so when Yuha was reawakening, he pretty much took away all the Quincy's powers, who were non-Quincy's in a way, are in his words fake Quincy's with powers. They're Quincy's with their Quincy abilities, but the thing is, they're like half of something else. They're half human, or half, in Masaki's case, half hollow and everything. We see, because it looked like she was about to fight and defend herself, and Isshin makes a point like, yeah, she would have easily defeated Grand Fisher with utter ease. Like, Grand Fisher would have been absolutely, it absolutely would have been easy for her to take out Grand Fisher without a scratch on her body. But because, of course, Yuha reawoke at this point in time, on this day, she lost her powers, she lost her Quincy powers, and she couldn't defend herself, and she ended up getting killed. At the same time, we also do find out, confirmed, that Katagiri was actually Uryu's mother, which makes absolute sense. That whole scene in the episode where she confronts Ryukin, and she's like, she stayed with the Soul Reaper, didn't she? And obviously Ryukin is like, yes. And then he's like, listen, tell my mother that I failed, and I'm not a good Quincy or anything. I can't live up to the Quincy name. And obviously Katagiri, she was like, no, I've always been by your side, and I'm going to continue to be by your side and serve you no matter means necessary and everything. I've been enamored with you since we first met. And you can clearly see that Ryukin and Katagiri, ended up becoming close, and they ended up getting romantically, involved with each other. And then they had Uryu, and everything, which I'll talk about the Uryu scene at the end of episode 13. But just to get this whole reveal, the fact that in a way, Yuha was the main person that responsible for having Ichigo's mother killed. If not for him wanting to get his power back after 900 years, pretty much, and wasn't only taking powers away from pretty much what he would deem fake Quincy's, um, she would have lived. And this gives Ichigo pretty much a good mindset to be like, okay, I have to set out, I have to stop this guy because this guy in reality killed my mother. So in a way, I know back when I was rewatching, when I was watching Bleach for the first time, I wanted Ichigo to get to the point where he would end up killing Grand Fisher. Now we end up seeing how Isshin and the Arankar arc did, and also too, because when Ichigo was awakening his hollow powers were so strong that it broke, um, pretty much the enchantment that was on Isshin to be able to go back into his Soul Reaver abilities, and because his hollow form got so strong and he's got stronger over his time of battle, Isshin, it broke the seal. Isshin got his Soul Reaver powers back, and yeah, and I know from what I heard of other people's reviews, some people felt like Isshin killing Grand Fisher, it wasn't. I guess you can say it wasn't warranted because I saw some people say no, it should have been Ichigo that killed Grand Fisher. But now when you get all this, now me getting this all revealed, it makes sense. Isshin killed Grand Fisher because in a way, it's kind of his way. It's kind of the way of, putting away, his wife for good and finally getting the vengeance, because we know that Isshin would have protected her against Grand Fisher even though he had no Soul Reaver abilities. And now Ichigo can now pretty much get his revenge. He can get his retribution for his mom's death on the person that pretty much was the main cause of her dying. And like I said, with Uryu, that's going to be a whole thing, but again, I'll talk about that later. So then we cut into episode 3, and that's when, Ichigo gets pretty much the full understanding of what's going on. He ends up going back to Squad Zero, and the dude who's making the Zanpakto. Again, I keep forgetting this guy's name. But we do actually cut over to what's going on in the Soul Society. We see we see the captain of Squad 3 replacing Tozen. And he's helping to train Shuhei, and pretty much he's telling him, hey, we need to, at this point with how crazy fights will be getting, you need to learn how to use a Bankai, pretty much. So Shuhei is going to learn how to use a Bankai, and pretty much we see how Mahiro is going to help with that, and she goes into a holified state. Now, the one interesting thing I will say is, it's interesting that he doesn't want to holify. Maybe it's like some sort of rule enactment that they can't holify, but that's kind of the thing as I'm watching my freaking Clippers. But anyways, that's kind of the thing there. And we see how other captains are training. You see how Toshiro, he's going back to his roots because he doesn't have his Bankai, and he's going back to his roots to get better and everything, which makes complete sense. Go back to your roots, learn the basics again so you can become stronger and everything. We see Soifan, she's just training, doing these push-ups. Almeida, he's, I guess, messing around with his sister, so he's not really training. And we even get an interesting scene with Komamura. He goes back to his old clan and has this very old, like, looking dog creature. I guess the leader of the clan is like, hey, please teach me the secrets of our clan so then I can use it to aid me in the battle against the Quincy's. And pretty much the dude is like, dude, you freaking tried to hide who you truly are. I'm not gonna help you. And pretty much Komamura's like, but I opened up and now I'm seeing the world change. And pretty much the dude's like, I don't give a crap anymore. I don't care if times are changing, the balance and power is changing. We're gonna live in our hiding, and guess what? We won't care, because when the time comes and they'd want to attack, then we'll defend ourselves. But it then starts with a whole battle between this elder and Komamura, which it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. So obviously they're going to dive into that. Maybe we'll get more Komamura backstory about why he left the clan originally and everything. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I was actually intrigued. Out of all the out of all the over coverings, we went with the other captains. It's very interesting with Komamura. I do like Komamura. He's been one of those characters that has been a background character, but I've always been interested in his story and his character, to be honest. I really do. We see how Mayuri and Nemu, they're doing something. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're doing something in their lab. Um, what they could be doing, I have no fucking clue. But we see how the other Soul Society members, they're training to get stronger to prepare for the next incoming Quincy attack because they know the Quincy's are going to come back and pretty much attack them. So yeah, that's kind of the thing there. We cut back with Ichigo and we see the guy. He's like, "Oh, welcome back. Now that you finally pretty much found yourself." The thing is, he's back in the pit and we see all the Zanpaktos. They're pretty much kneeling before him, and we see how Ichigo finds his own Zanpakto, which ends up pretty much turning, into his white holified state of Ichigo, which we find out, through what Zangetsu said was strictly the hollow personality, the hollow side in him that always protected him this entire time. But that's when you get the whole thing of they're making his new Zanpakto and everything, Ichigo's own base Zanpakto, absolutely freaking crazy with, I guess, the girls that were helping out in this whole situation. So that was cool to see. They all had nice, funny introduction scenes. But then, you have it to where, dude says, "Hey, get ready to say goodbye to Zangetsu," and Ichigo's like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" And that's when we get the reveal that Zangetsu is Yuhabak from 1,000 years ago, or 900 years ago, pretty much. And it's like, oh shit, it's been in our face this entire effing time. And even Ichigo, when he fought Yuhabak, he was always like, he was saying like, there was always something on the tip of my tongue of like, what the heck is going on? But then we end up finding out like, this dude's been within Ichigo's life, and pretty much, what is it? We see how Zangetsu was pretty much I want to say the experimentation, but he was the part of Ichigo's Quincy's power in his inner space. And, Zangetsu pretty much says, "Listen, you were pretty much becoming a Soul Reaper, and if you became a full Soul Reaper, then I would have to kill you. And I didn't want to do that, but I knew I had to." Makes sense because he's a Quincy. But, he goes on to explain, like, through all the battles you've had, all these life or death situations, you thought it was me that was always helping you. No, it wasn't me. It was your hollow self that was the one that was helping you all the time and saving you. Giving you that extra boost of power you need. I pretty much had nothing to do, even though I said I had something to do, and I said that I would be doing this. And it really makes you flash back to all those moments to where they had those inner moments of turmoil and not talking with Zangetsu and freaking the hollow Ichigo, which again, it's just absolutely crazy when you get all this freaking revelation now. And pretty much you have it where Ichigo goes up to the furnace. He pulls out his own Zanpakto. He's got two swords now. One referencing his Quincy side and the other one representing his hollow side, bringing them into one, finally truly accepting who he is. And that's just the fact that he's pretty much a Soul Reaper, a hollow, and a Quincy, all three in one. It's like the title of it, so the blade is him pretty much. So this is his own forge, his own Zanpakto that is based off of Ichigo and everything, and it was just a beautiful ending. You had number one song playing in the background, and yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. Then you get the post-credit scene at that episode that ends off for part one to see that Uryu is confronting Yuhabak, and it's seemingly enough, he looks like he's gonna be joining the Stern Ridders, which, my goodness, man, because what the trailer said, it's implied that sadly it looks like we might be getting Ichigo versus Uryu. I never thought it'd be like in this form, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. And like I said, it's even gonna be more interesting whenever Ichigo gets to the point, like, listen, this dude killed your mom. He's responsible for your mom dying. If not for him taking away your mom's abilities, she would have more than likely lived. But because he took her abilities away, she ended up dying of her illness because of it. So it's gonna be interesting to see what will Uryu's reaction be if he finds out that it was Yuhabak that turned on his own kind and it was responsible for killing his mother. So It's absolutely crazy, but man, the first core of Bleach Thousand Year Blood War arc was absolutely amazing. Everything was amazing about it. There's nothing else I can speak on. And I'm really, listen, I recently got into Bleach about a few months ago, actually, and I caught up a few months ago, before, um, Thousand Year Blood War anime came out. So obviously, me being kind of a new fan of to Bleach, it's like, wow, it's just amazing. I'm just happy that it's back again and everything. But I can only imagine that how happy and how excited the people who waited 10 years for this adaptation to come, must have to been happy, which I've been, I guess I heard or I saw somebody make a point on Twitter saying like, why are people upset that, the next core is coming out in July 2023? People, we waited 10 long years for this adaptation. You're telling me you can't wait 7 damn months? And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if you're really one of those people that are complaining about the length of how long we have to wait to get core 2, um come on, people, get a life. 7 months isn't going to be that long. I'm telling you, 2022 went by in a flash, man. I still remember January of 2022 in some cases, and guess what, where we're at now, we're already at the end of at the end of 2022. The middle part of 2023 is going to be coming right then and there, and then Bleach will be here. So yeah, it's Core 2 is going to be good. I saw the trailer. It looks really freaking good. It looks like they're going to step their damn game up in the animation. The animation is going to look like it's going to be crazy. Like I heard that on somebody else's review that, they're going on, freaking Studio Pierrot is going all freaking out in Core 2. I'm like, what more can they freaking top from what they freaking saw in Core 1? But we have to wait till July 2023, and then guess what? Bleach will be back. But it looks like what they're doing potentially is maybe they're doing it every 2 seasons. A new core starts. I believe there's like 4 cores, so core 2 will be taking place during summer of anime 2023, and then it looks like core 3 will be taking place in spring of anime. If you're going by 2 cores each, or 2 seasons of anime, then core 3 will come out spring of anime 2024. And then core 4, the final core, which would end off the series for Bleach, will be coming out in anime, Jesus, winter of anime 2025. My god, just even thinking about it, man. Anime 2025. Jesus, I hope not. I hope the world doesn't go to shit because of that by 2025. But all right. But anyways, listen, great Bleach episodes. I can't wait for more Bleach. The wait is going to be hard, but definitely I can't wait to talk about more Bleach next year, July. And yeah, but anyways, guys, again, sorry for my co-host not joining. He was off for the holidays in Mexico, so yeah. But if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the entire first part of Core 1 of Bleach Thousand Year Blood War arc, and your hype levels for Bleach, Core 2 Thousand Year Blood War. Again, do not leave spoilers because we are anime onlys, and I do not want to get spoiled for future events that are going to happen in Core 2. So please be generous. Don't spoil shit. Otherwise, I don't want to turn off my comment section or anything to do that. But anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hit the subscribe button. Until then, guys, peace.